I am Samir. I am representing the Thai team. Today we have with us Prashant Bhaskar, the founder of PlugHr, and his team member Manoj Shah. I know Prashant well because he's been a charter member with Thai, and he's been a very active mentor there. Giving you a little bit of his intro, he was in the startup team of Jobs Ahead. Moved on there. By education, he's a marketing guy, but now heads one of the finest HR companies in India, having a unique kind of concept. By the name you would have understood, it's PlugHr, plug and play HR comes into your organization. So let me not talk much about them. Let them go with the subject matter proper. So can we welcome Prashant and Manoj?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
My name is Prashant Bhaskar. I have my colleague, PlugHr Chief Operating Officer Manoj Shah with us. I have been running PlugHr since 2007. It was founded in 2007 April, and we did that startup journey through various phases, learning, growing. About 5 months back, Manoj came on board. Manoj was our client CEO before he came on board. He was running his own business, which he successfully merged out to Gold's Gym. It was a fitness retail venture. And then he liked PlugHr quite so much, I would be very happy to say that we said let's do this together now. So, and it's always a great privilege for a startup team to have someone on your side who has seen you growing from the other side. Right? So, a lot of learnings which otherwise you will learn through your own trials will come quickly. By background, I studied marketing, little bit of venture capital finance. HR I missed out on studying. I'm covering up now. Manoj is a chartered accountant by background, and he's been CFO, he's been an entrepreneur and did 2-3 ventures earlier. So it appears like the only missing piece is HR. And somehow I realized that along the way that has been our greatest strength, that we were able to bring an outside view, a businessman's view to HR very quickly, and we didn't really have to struggle with our education and our well set thought patterns. So, and over the time, what we have also realized is that for a startup or early stage organization, your connect with business is far more extremely important than any other else. Though of course concepts of HR we do bring to table. So the way we will structure this format is like this. This workshop, I'll quickly run you through a 5 or 6 slides of presentation just to set the context of when we say HR, what exactly is HR? Because HR is actually quite a large term in terms of how people perceive it. Right from your ticket bookings to your coffee machine to your water, everything can be HR or it may not be HR, depends on how you look at it. So we'll set that context right. And then what we will do is we'll create groups of 4 or 5 people each, participants each, so that you can go through that questionnaire which you have. Right? That questionnaire talks about a little bit about your business. So in that group, you can put thoughts together to that questionnaire. In limited time, it will not be possible to cover everyone's framework completely. So what we will try to do is take each group. Out of that group, you can choose one of the persons who is willing to let the business case be dealt with. So 4 of you and 1 business case between you, right, you will put your mind to that framework and try to run what we call as a business HR alignment framework. Right. So idea is when you walk out today from this workshop, you should not just go with some thoughts and good talks which you heard and you will then try to put together. We will want you to go with some concrete decision and steps that you go out with, that tomorrow you can start taking action on it. Now, since because of limited time we can't do it for all, what we will do is at least 4 or 5 different cases of each group can get covered here, but the methodology we will do it in such a manner that all of us will participate. So then for you to go tomorrow and next 2 days replicate the same exercise will be easier. Right? And both of us are available on mails, etc. So even when you go from here, you want some thoughts, etc. Feel free to email, etc. We will be very happy to handle you to completion on this. Yeah. So any thoughts here right now in terms of expectation or any specific thing? Is that format okay? Yeah.
You seem to have focused a lot on larger companies. From your questions, I can see that you are focused on larger companies.
So, actually speaking, not. So most of the time, in HR, it appears that these questions belong to larger companies, right? But when we actually do it, we will realize what it means for even a startup, right? So yeah, I take your point. We will address that as we go along, right? We will see whether it relates to startup or it doesn't relate to startup. Yeah.
Also, when the word strategy comes, then people feel that it is for the only evolved companies, but it's not. Even a startup would need a strategy.
Or as a team member, I would like to know what is the perspective or vision of the entrepreneur.
Sure.
It will come into everyone's
Sure.
perspective.
When you say you're going to give cases, is it that you are going to give a particular case, or is this going to be?
No, it's your case.
It's your case.
So that's why I'm making a group of 4. So out of the 4, expectation is that at least one person is fine putting his own business case on table on which 4 people can apply their mind. Right? Why we're not saying each one do your individual cases is because there may not be a group of 4 where everyone has a case. There might be some aspiring entrepreneur. There might be somebody who's working in stealth mode, doesn't want to talk about his business. Whatever. Right. So if we find a group where they don't have anyone willing to put a business case together, then we'll pull out something. Yeah. And we will talk. The idea is to talk, right? Workshop means we should talk, not just I. Yeah, so we begin?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so first we'll deal with the technology. How do we get it inside there? This is what we are going to do. All of us who have a head of HR in our organizations is going to smash his head, and all of us who don't have a head of HR are going to smash our own heads. But some smashing we'll definitely do. So this is my favorite guy. He suffers from what we call as Manhattan illusion. She runs a web security firm in Bhander. Okay, all resemblances are coincidental. Operates from this gala where the road is dark. Last 28 months. We all are familiar in Bombay. It's a very familiar site. He thinks he is sitting in Manhattan. So he complains, people don't turn up for interviews, don't join, don't stay, MBAs are useless, what is happening to the new generation and all that. People are not motivated, excited. If he doesn't get people, he will not grow for sure. He can talk whatever his art out, and if he doesn't grow, he will shrink. So there is still hope. Then this is another guy, bone collector. He runs an IT firm, lot of new high-tech stuff, 5G and all. He goes to all learning places, seminars, workshops, collecting bones after bones. He doesn't find a hungry dog back home. So when he goes back, and he talks about some great stuff in his organization, people look at each other and smile. They say, looks like he's back from some workshop. Or maybe he's met somebody today. And people want to get over with those first 2-3 days of excitement, then they know we will come back to the same old. So he stays hungry, and people stay in the same roles. Then we have our dynamic MD of engineering company, rock and roll MD. Rocks the boat every time he takes a people decision. And he loses people to other companies. So every day he says, okay, enough is enough, I'm going to be tough. Next day he finds 5 resignations. This is the truth. 153 million jobs will be available to 70 million employable people. Every idiot will have a choice of 2 jobs at least. So it's not about buildings and funds, city, etc. The largest question you're going to face in running a business and scaling it is who's willing to work for you in the first place. That is the only question you will deal with. And so every time you look at that fancy office, remember there are people for whom people work from public parks and homes and wherever. So it's actually not about anything else but this one question. Is there somebody willing to work for you? Another truth is the Fortune 500 companies are going to churn the market for best talent. They'll give them the top money, 3 times more than what you can afford, etc. etc. You can crib about it and write articles, but nothing is going to happen. See, one of the added advantage Fortune 500 has is that their money is being handled by people for whom it's not their money. Right? So they can commit a 70% hike without thinking. Nobody is paying from his own pocket. For us, we are paying from our pockets, so we can't get up and say take 70% more. And that disadvantage is going to remain with us for very long, or till the time at least we are managing our own businesses. So, fact is, all of us others hunt from the leftovers, and things will only get worse. Because a lot of startups are growing very fast, and very soon they are joining the gang of people who can actually pay just anything. A lot of ventures getting funded, a lot of burn money around. So, a lot of us are going to keep complaining about this fact that, hey, listen, what was in this guy? So I was paying 50,000 bucks. He got an offer for 1,50,000. Why would somebody pay him? The unfortunate part is people don't grow up dreaming about working with unknown startups. That's not the aspiration. That's not growing aspiration. Nobody in this family ever wants him to go this way. So there's a lot of resistance. So look at the environment in which we operate, right? For a default company which has got a great brand, which has got everything going for them, finding talent is a challenge and they compete. Even for a great brand. If we have so much against us already, what a game talent management would be for us. So let's understand for a moment as a businessman, what is the new paradigm? What are things looking like? You launch a new product. You go to a customer. You tell him, I am new, I have started this business, yesterday I launched it.